What's going on there, guys? We back with another one. We got to talk about Shannon Sharpe and his comments over the last few days. We're talking about this whole Caitlin Clark thing as far as what Monica McNutt said. He called her out, Caroline Peck. He also spoke about Sheryl Swoopes and what's going on with her and Caitlin Clark. And if you look down Sheryl Swoopes' timeline, she's been responding to Nancy Lieberman. We're going to play Nancy Lieberman's clip on Stephen A's show, and also what Sheryl said that made her miss out on the opportunity to comment Caitlin's last game. And Sheryl is letting her personal feelings about Caitlin Clark and the talk around Caitlin Clark affect how she feels about the young woman, which is a bit weird. But again, you're in a position where you would have the opportunity to play a mentor role to her, or impart some wisdom in her, and she's getting caught up in the race dynamic that's been created around this thing, which Shannon Sharpe is going to talk about. And again, we're going to go back, we're going to look at what Monica said, we're going to look at what Caroline Peck said, who coached the Orlando WNBA team back in late 90s, early 2000s. And Shannon, he kind of went in on it. And there's this article that came out with Sports Illustrated, and the article was titled, Shannon Sharpe Calls Out ESPN Analysts for Ice Cold Caitlin Clark Takes. And you look at the way Caitlin has been playing up to this point, she's looking like arguably the very best point guard in the WNBA. And if you go back to my oldest videos talking about Caitlin, even when she was still at Iowa, when Sheryl Swoopes first made those ridiculous statements, I said her top asset that people are sleeping on is her passing. People were talking so much about the shooting. I realized when she was at Iowa, some of the players just wasn't catching the passes. And honestly, her shooting wouldn't have kept her or kept them in some of those games. It was the passing and the ability to use her gravity to find other players, to have them contribute, that was keeping them in the game. But you would understand that, people that watched the game, understood that. It was just, I guess the casual fan wasn't picking up on that because the threes are so exciting. And she was also chasing the record, and that probably played a part in people not giving her a proper due for her passing. But we're going to look at everything that was said, and I'll be back. Let's check it out.
I have said this all season, BC. My Rookie of the Year is going to go based on the standings.
Okay.
Because I think that is how you have the opportunity to measure impact.
And the sky's right above them.
And the Sky right now are in the playoffs, so you'd have to give the nod in my mind to Angel Reese.
This is where we land. To Chicago Sky down at 7th place, Indiana Fever at 8th. So both of these teams would make the playoffs if they started today. And Carolyn, that brings us to a wonderful conversation and great dialogue. A big question. If you had to log your vote today, who would your Rookie of the Year be in the WNBA?
I mean, it is a thin line. It's really tight. But when you look at where the teams are, and I also went a little deeper and I looked at plus minus, and I also look at net rating.
Understand that, but she cannot be babied as a rookie. That's all I'm at.
All right.
Who talks about the WNBA? Who talks about women? Who talk about women's sports more than First Take?
Stephen A, respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Wow.
All right, we got to go to you guys.
So did you say
you're my guy, but
who does more than
Stephen
us?
A, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Don't do that. I'm talking to you about the power that you have.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
All right, let's.
You're my guy, but I'm talking to you.
I got it.
Guys, I really appreciate
you're my girl, but you've missed a lot of episodes of First Take. You missed a lot.
Stephen A,
Guys.
3 years ago, you would not talk about the W at this level. Don't do that.
Guys.
Nobody was, Monica. You making Stephen A's point, Monica. Monica, you making Stephen A's point.
So recently, when Caitlin Clark won Player of the Week in the Eastern Conference, Sheryl Swoopes was on the commentary for that night. And when they were talking about it, she went extremely quiet, didn't say anything. And this led to her getting replaced on the telecast for the next Caitlin Clark game.
Got to go to the players of the week. Both of them had outstanding weeks, and they're the next two opponents to the weeks. Caitlin Clark will be here on Sunday for the week, averaged 25, and Avisa Collier averaged over 25. And, of course, the Lynx here Friday at 6:30 on ION. And then the Fever come here at 3 o'clock before a sellout crowd. Tough stretch for Dallas.
And so you can see there Sheryl Swoopes' personal feelings has gotten involved. Don't know exactly if it's Caitlin or the fans coming at her, but you cannot do that and allow that to start to mess with your pockets and your opportunities that you've afforded yourself through your illustrious career. You're commentating the game because you know it, and you know you had a wonderful career as an individual player, right? And also a champion with Cynthia Cooper, with Tina Thompson, all those ladies. Okay, so Nancy Lieberman spoke about a conversation she had with Sheryl Swoopes, who she's coached before and is known since she was in college, and Sheryl Swoopes snapped at her.
You know, I've known Sheryl since she was in college. I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993, took her to her first ESPYs. I've known Sheryl, I've coached her, have a lot of respect for her. And I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend. And I said, you know, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. You know, it's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone. And I was like, Sheryl, you know, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me.
Hey, I got to ask y'all a question. Y'all still think she's the great white hype? There's a lot of women that was on ESPN that had a lot to say earlier about this. They gone quiet now.
You say they quiet?
Y'all quiet now. Now, I want somebody to send that to you because you know who I'm talking about. I ain't going to call your name, but you know who you are. Y'all had a lot to say early. Y'all had a lot to say early. And if you think I'm talking to you, I am. Make no mistake about it. I'm talking to you. You know who you are. One of you was a former coach. I get a little bit more specific. Some of you played the game. Now, I want y'all to have that same thing when y'all were talking. Don't get mad now. But Nancy Lieberman, look, I love Sheryl Swoopes. I've met Sheryl Swoopes, had conversation with her a couple of times. Always been great to me. But I don't think Nancy said anything that's wrong. Sheryl, you just got, you know, your facts are off. She didn't shoot this many times. She wasn't this and she wasn't that. Okay. You get upset because you said something that wasn't factually correct and somebody corrects you. Right. And now that's a ground that you're going to cut off communication. I get it. You know what it is, Ocho. You want me to let the elephant out the room?
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Leave the elephant in there.
You know what it is.
Yeah, leave the elephant in there. It's okay.
Most of the people in the WNBA look like us. And they say, why they don't get no praise? Why y'all wasn't talking about them? That's what it is. Let's be real. Let's be real with it now.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. It'd have been interesting if they had social media. What would have been said about Larry Bird? Because the large percent of the NBA was hey, remember black. Isaiah? Isaiah said it. He caught flack. Said if Larry Bird was black, he'd just be another player.
Mm.
They thinking the same thing. If Caitlin Clark was black, she'd just be another player. Y'all wouldn't be hyping it up, Shannon. Shannon ain't got no money. Hey, Shannon ain't signed Caitlin Clark to no marketing deal. He ain't gave her no shoe deal. Y'all need to get mad at the advertisers and the sponsors. Don't get mad at Shannon for telling y'all what's going on.
So Sheryl Swoopes responded to Stephen A. Smith and said, you forgot to ask her about this. And she was alluding to Nancy Lieberman saying she would have punched Kennedy Carter in her face after that shoulder bump earlier in this season. Now, also, she quoted that video and she said, now, here you go. I get what you're trying to do with your boy Stephen A. Smith, but it ain't working. You know good and well what happened. And ditto, my life is good without you and him. You want to go there? And so Sheryl Swoopes been clapping back, man. Also, they were calling out Shannon Sharpe in the comment section because Nightcap went under Sheryl Swoopes' comment and said, "Queen, can we get you on the show tonight to speak your piece?" I don't know if Sheryl Swoopes responded to that, but you know, it's looking like it's looking like Stephen A and Shannon are content fishing off of this WNBA drama. But I would like to say, you know, to Sheryl Swoopes, when somebody calls you and shows you where you were incorrect on some of the things you were saying, and you don't want to take that back, I mean, I guess you could stand on it. I ain't got no problem with that, but you got to deal with the backlash that comes with it, especially if you're wrong and you could easily go look up the statistics and the things you were saying. And I know you wanted Angel Reese to win the way you were hugging on her, and it's become a black-white thing to you, which is perfectly fine, you know, for you to have that opinion. But again, the backlash is going to come when you take that sort of stance. Monica McNutt, I hadn't seen as much from them lately when Caitlin Clark has firmly got out in front in this race. And I'm glad Shannon Sharpe mentioned the racial dynamic there. Isaiah did do that to Larry Bird, and Larry Bird kind of responded like Caitlin Clark. He didn't lean all the way into it, you know, in that type of way. But we see this, and there's been other good white players, right? We've seen them throughout the WNBA history. So Caitlin is a 6-foot point guard that brings that showtime passing. She makes a lot of turnovers, and some of them is, again, because the teammates isn't catching some of the passes, but also she takes a risk with the pass, and it leads to turnovers, like, you know, and so she has the responsibility. Again, she's a rookie, but she's a big point guard, and she's bringing something that the game hasn't seen before. I mean, you could look at her assist numbers, you could look at her offensive output, you look at the way her and Kelsey Mitchell plays together, right? So I look at that the same way I look at her individual production. She's been able to figure it out. You look at the way she was trying to play like she was at Iowa earlier this year and really struggling. And then you look at her last game against Dejanay Carrington. Those have been the games I've been looking at the most, games where she struggled with a certain type of defender. And now she's using the defense aggression against them. And she's kind of just playing off of what they're giving her instead of trying to overly make things happen and realize, hey, I got Kelsey Mitchell on this team. She can go off. So when y'all give me all this attention, that player is capable of dropping 36 like she did the other night. And her teammates love her. You know, we saw the connection with Aaliyah Boston earlier in the season. We're seeing Nalissa Smith getting synchronized with her, who's dating Dejanay Carrington. We're seeing all these things happen. And so if you measure it by winning, now it's going to be, there's multiple all-stars on her team. And Aaliyah Boston was an all-star, rightfully so. Kelsey Mitchell shooting the lights out of it. But also the winning part of it. You can't take away the winning part that she's added to it. And it's not to take away from what Angel has done. Angel would have won Rookie of the Year any other year because her rebounding is a real thing. I don't like when people say that her rebounding is just because of missed layups, because you have to have a quick second jump. Sometimes, even if you're missing on purpose or you missing a lot by the rim, you have to have that quick second jump to get the rebound. It doesn't just happen because you're trying to make it happen, is what I'm saying. So Angel Reese grabbing those boards. Now, I've seen her chase a few double-doubles by staying in games late to get the points or to get the rebound late. But typically it's the points because the rebounds come. But staying in, calling for the ball when they down by, 7-9 points that game with less than 15 seconds. But all in all, she's had a good season, you know. she's had a good season, and her rebounding is a real thing. That was my point in saying all this. Her rebounding is a real thing. But Caitlin Clark is by far and away the best rookie this year. Rakia Jackson, arguably her angel, and you see Camilla making a push right now. Camilla got soft hands around the rim, can finish around the rim, do some great things. So it's a lot of great rookies, but Caitlin Clark, make no mistake about it, has been the engine behind all of this, for the WNBA. And it's because of the aesthetic of her game. It's not that Angel Reese doesn't bring eyes. It's just the aesthetic of Caitlin's game keeps eyes on the game, if that makes sense. And it's just about game. It's not about race. Now, people make it about that. Of course, you got people on both sides that's making it about that. You got the Dave Portnoys and them that go too far, talk down on Angel Reese. I don't like them either. I'm just simply talking about what's in front of us, the game, the way Caitlin Clark has pushed it forward, and her playing above expectation has drawn even more interest into it. And Angel Reese, with them battling early on for that Rookie of the Year, Caitlin has since pulled away. But with Angel Reese doing what she done, it kept interest in it too. And so I love what I'm seeing in the women's game. I think it's unfortunate someone like Sheryl Swoopes isn't giving Caitlin, you could tell the people that just wanted Caitlin to fall flat on her face and have a terrible career. But if that happens, the interest is gone. Nobody cares no more. I mean, and I ain't saying nobody like the diehard fan. I'm saying nobody as far as the casual fan that gets you more views and gets and buys the merchandise. You got to have the casual, period. The casual is what carries a sport. It isn't the diehard. The casual is people that wasn't watching before watching and putting money towards things, buying the kids Caitlin Clark, buying them Angel Reese jerseys. You got to have all that. And again, man, Sheryl, you standing on nothing right now. The foundation you standing on isn't solid. You just don't like Caitlin Clark because she white. And I think you need to get at a rest. You need to get at a rest. And if her fans are bothering you that much, you shouldn't listen to them because you got access to the Caitlin Clark herself. You ain't got to talk to her fans about it. But hey, you can stand on ignorance as long as you want to. Glad Shannon Sharpe called us out, this race mess. There's times, we have to speak up on racial things. But as far as this Caitlin Clark thing, as far as I can see so far, and by her answers and her actions that we can see now, not saying something won't come out later, but from what we can see now, the girl just want to play basketball, man. Stop making it more than that. Stop arguing with these fans all day long to make you formulate an opinion about a person who's pushing the game forward and is the biggest catalyst behind it. Like I said, check Asia Wilson's all-star votes compared to last year, and you'll see just the interest in the game for how many votes she got last year and this year that is helping even a player like her, who's arguably going to have a chance to be the best ever. To me, Cynthia Cooper, special place in my heart, is the best. But, Asia Wilson, right there, put her against anybody all time. Big time player. Big time. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.